Welcome back, everyone, to Hearthstone Grandmasters opening day here of Season 2 of 2020. We're currently about to go into our elimination match, our first of the season during the Swiss tournament stage, where we're going to be eliminating a player in this top 8 so far between justsaiyan and Eddie. Last time we saw Eddie, he had a pretty tumultuous series with his mage. However, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the last time he got really unlucky, TJ. Surely he can't get unlucky this time, right?
He definitely can. The question is, can one man be beaten down so bad in one day of Hearthstone? And I think it's unlikely, but definitely excited to see the deck in action. I hope we do see it in action.
Yes, and we will see whether or not the mage will be able to make it to the ban stage. In the meantime, if you're wondering what we're talking about exactly, let's go ahead and show you what today's T-Mobile deck spotlight is, featuring Eddie's Illusion Mage. It is capitalizing on big combos and stalling the game out for a long time in order to get a bunch of damage out, but it's got some really interesting cards that you're not expecting if you're still getting acquainted with this deck. So, TJ, we're calling it Turtle Mage. What exactly is this deck that makes it go?
So basically, this deck is a combo deck. The goal is to get infinite Tortolan Pilgrims. By playing Tortolan Pilgrims, Tortolan Pilgrim uses Potion of Illusion from your deck to put a 1-mana Tortolan Pilgrim back into your deck. You keep doing this over and over again until eventually you draw into your Nightblade, and then you add Nightblade into the Tortolan Pilgrim Potion of Illusion combo, while at the same time using your other Tortolan Pilgrim to freeze your opponent's board with either Blizzard or Frost Nova. Now, what we've been seeing from Eddie so far is that he's been drawing both of his Potions of Illusions before he's able to pull them from his deck with Tortolan Pilgrim, and that effectively completely shuts off the combo. But in theory, once you get to that point where you can play Tortolan Pilgrim safely, while freezing your opponent's board and putting 2 Tortolan Pilgrims back into your hand, your opponent can't do anything. Their board is frozen for the whole game, and you're continuously dealing 3 damage to them with Nightblade. The combo seems, pretty intuitive from the get-go, but it can get really complicated once you start factoring in board space and just getting to that point in general, because in order for that combo to happen, you need to have 10 mana, because you need to be able to play 3 of them. So it gets kind of crazy. And you have some fail safes with the Lore Keeper Pull Kit and the Sphere of Sapience, but other than that, just hoping that you don't draw them like he did 2 games in the last series.
That's right. It's got a lot of tools. It's really powerful, but like you said, TJ, there's some fail safe, but perhaps no bigger fail safe than America's largest 5G network, T-Mobile. That was your T-Mobile deck spotlight. Shout out to them as they help enable us to do what we love. And Hearthstone Grandmasters is ready to go with our 4th match of day number 1, featuring Druid versus Druid. We'll see if that mage ends up coming around and being a part of the series again. It could be on ice for now, but if Eddie is to win the series and that mage is not banned, he's going to need to get a dub.
Yes, he is. Saiyan slipping slower and slower into the darkness. It's not even dark yet in Southern California, so I don't know. His curtains are drawn. He's embracing it. But he's got an overgrowth in hand, so he's got to feel a little bit happy. Eddie... I have a love-hate relationship with keeping Lightning Bloom in the mulligan.
Interesting. You want to elaborate more on that?
It enables so many earlier power turns. It's one of the strongest cards in the deck because of that, but I would rather have an overgrowth in almost every situation.
Well, yeah, but you don't get to control that, and the Lightning Bloom helps smooth out the curve in some ways, right? Like, you're able to play a very fast Twilight runner.
Yep.
But I generally agree. I think you just want to have the hard ramp cards as opposed to the temporary ones.
Did keep Kael'thas, though, which I think Kael'thas has gone up in priority, at least in the mulligan, with this new variation of the deck. Just because with Survival of the Fittest, Guardian Animals, and Overflow, being those expensive spells that you want to get out early, kind of quote-unquote cheating out the cards has much more value because you have more cards that are possible to cheat out.
True. That does make that does make sense in the big picture as well. So can't really argue with that there. Eddie looks like he's lost, looking for something right now. A lot of times these players end up consulting deck lists. We do allow players to analyze that for people who are curious why they're looking off to the side intently. So a lot of times these players, they take an opportunity during the early game to analyze what they might be thinking about, as opposed to, you know, in other scenarios where you don't really get a chance to look at that. And so Eddie sees Saiyan's deck list. It's got a lot of similarities. It's got a few differences. I really like this tech that people are putting in with Living Dragon Breath in a lot of the Druid deck lists. Eddie has it, and a few others do. Living Dragon Breath from Descendant Dragon says your minions can't be frozen. It's just a permanent effect on a 3-mana 3/4, and it's good against Mage, but not really that useful in this matchup. Instead, Saiyan has, you know, an extra copy of another card here. I think it's Survival of the Fittest. He has 2 copies of, and that should help him in the mirror in particular. So a little bit more slanted towards Saiyan, I would think, in this head-to-head if I just look at the deck list early on.
Yeah, Saiyan also has the exotic Mount Seller. That's standard. What did he have earlier that was different? Oh, he has the double Lake Thresher. That's what he has.
Yeah, Eddie has that too, but he doesn't run the exotic Mount Seller.
Oh well, I was okay. Yeah. I would. So it's so blended between Muzzy's, Saiyan's, and Eddie's because they're all playing the same list but with different techs. Muzzy was playing one Lake Thresher, which Saiyan and Muzzy still, I believe, practice together, but they differ slightly on how their lists are constructed. But it is interesting, and I liked how Eddie, he held on to the Worthy Expedition on turn 2 instead of searching for choose one to be able to fill his card because he wanted to give himself the option to play Overgrowth on 3 if he were to draw it. Because if he had played Worthy Expedition, it would have eaten up that Nature Studies spell reduction, and he would have been stranded on 3 mana if he had drawn Wild Growth. So I like the sequencing there. But now he does have Lightning Bloom, but he has no ramp. He could Lightning Bloom, Kael'thas, Innervate plus Guardian Animals next turn, which is a very powerful play. Alternatively, he could Survival of the Fittest, but because he'd be getting the discount with Kael'thas, he wouldn't be able to play a Nubasoth alongside it, so it'd just be a Kael'thas that was beefed up. Saiyan, on the other hand, just has to overflow and a Nubasoth Defender, which is good considering he's looking at Eddie's 7 mana or 5 mana to his 7, but at the same time, Eddie could have the potential for power play. And Saiyan will be able to go off next turn with Kael'thas, but until then, he's playing a 3/5.
Yeah, so when you go up against Guardian Animals, a lot of times you're thinking about, do I have to play a minion for them to rush into and get value off of the Twilight Runner? And I think that, you know, in this kind of scenario, if Saiyan didn't have to play a card to avoid burning his next draw, I think he would have probably held that Nubasoth Defender. Yeah. But, you know, like you said, there's 5 mana. If they innervate, they have to have they have to have 2 innervates or a Lightning Bloom and a Guardian Animals, and then they also have to have that Twilight Runner. With 2 Lake Threshers, there is a chance that the Twilight Runner doesn't get hit.
Yeah.
So I like it. I think that it's like a really small thing, but it sometimes has like the biggest impact. And these Druid Mirrors, a lot of times, getting that ability to get onto the board quickly was everything. And then the one limitation was card draw. But then when Ultimate Infestation hit the meta, it was almost like whoever just played that card first was pretty much in the driver's seat, because you would get the card draw, board presence, and you'd be able to tempo by removing minions onto the board. And that's kind of what Guardian Animals feels like. It feels very similar to what Ultimate Infestation is trying to do, which is a little bit of everything, and sometimes it's just too much to handle. So a Guardian Animal is just on 5 here for Eddie. Looks like he is not comfortable just using his Lightning Bloom and trying to get onto the board too quickly here. And instead, next turn he has the ability to innervate and play Kale Thoss and still enable some of these really powerful combos. And I think I like that better because then he also now has 2 opportunities to draw cards with the Twilight Runner.
Yeah.
It's making a better Kale Thoss turn next turn. I think that's kind of what we're leaning towards here, right?
Yeah, I think that's it. Or if he uses Lightning Bloom and then doesn't get the Twilight Runner, then he's stranded because he has only 4 mana going into his following turn. And maybe Saiyan can respond with something big because he's got more mana crystals. Yeah, and that's what Hearthstone's all about. It's about mana crystals.
It really is. You know, the more mana crystals you got, generally the better you are. Better you're off in that scenario. Speaking of, Saiyan having access to 10 goes for a huge Gildra.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing to necessarily rush into, just stacks it even bigger.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
he's going
that's
in.
one of the biggest Gildras you can get. Except now Eddie has the opportunity to use Guardian Animals, and that should guarantee a snipe on that Gildra. The only exception is if it's 2 4-attack minions, and he doesn't draw anything else to deal with it, he would have to hero power it down. Nice.
Nope, he got it.
Pretty clean.
But he did use the Lightning Bloom. He hasn't been able to ramp, so he's going to be very limited on mana next turn, but he's going to have cards. He's going to have the resources to do it.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
He can Wild Growth after his Innervate, which activates his Overflow.
Or his Survival of the Fittest.
Actually, Survivor of the Fittest is way better.
Yeah, he's good. I think he would overdraw with the Overflow plus. But Overflow could help him find more cheap spells because with the ramp, he's actually at 7 mana, so he can actually dump his Bog Beams and his.
True. Oh, geez.
Oh no,
He's
out of
overdraw.
time. Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh,
Not like this, TJ. Look away.
Oh no.
Oh, I can't handle it.
Oh
Wait
no.
for player to reconnect.
Oh,
What is
no.
happening? Oh. Wait. Okay. Eddie doesn't know what to do. I'm putting my robe on.
I put on.
That's
my
right.
robe
I
and
was
wizard
getting
hat.
very comfortable and acquainted, as that series was very pleasurable to watch. But you know, I don't think that this is. I don't think that was a good way to go about that turn. Oh wait, we're back.
What happened?
Okay, so
Wait, he just got infinite time? What? This is the same turn.
I don't understand, but he finished playing his turn.
Huh.
Okay, well, I always knew Eddie was kind of a Time Lord, but this is irrefutable evidence.
What the heck? All right.
Power. My people are addicted to it.
All right, let's see what Saiyan can do now with his Kale Thoss. It's his turn. It's his time.
This is insane. Power turns back to back. All right, hits the good ones. Actually, hits the only ones because he has the other 3 beasts in his hand.
That's right.
Now can find something cheap. Or no, he was looking for something expensive there.
Oh,
actually, I believe.
he has like almost all minions, so Fungal Fortunes actually will draw mainly spells. He drew
Yeah, he
almost
only has
all
an
of his.
exotic Mount Seller.
Yeah. So I
Oh,
think
wow.
it actually is the time.
And then he'll get, if he draws Survival of the Fittest, he'll be able to play it. Oh no, he's got to go too. All right, there's Survival. These turns don't feel long enough for some reason.
it's the animation lengths, but like Saiyan also took a lot of time to think about that, and then
Yeah.
Okay, so
He can Speaker Gidge or
Yeah.
Iron Bark, but it would just allow him to trade over both of these, the 8-4 and the 8-1. And he's leaving a Kael'thas on the other side of the board. And Saiyan has a full hand of Survival of the Fittest minions.
yeah, the reason why the turns don't feel long enough is because they start acting when the rope has started, and
Yeah,
it's
I
like
know.
too late. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm just gonna do it, and they don't factor in the animation time.
Yeah, well, I mean, this turn, Eddie only has one play.
Right.
I don't think he can afford to leave the 8-1 up.
It's too threatening.
Yeah, it's too threatening because he would have to deal with it the next turn, which he may not be able to, and he could clear off the minions that he needs to generate.
Yeah, and I think from here, Saiyan just has the Ysera. And I think with Ysera and then the Nature's Studies with the Overgrowth, you can immediately draw for the Dragon Portals.
Yeah, or maybe he picks up something from Nature Studies, but I doubt anything's going to beat the Overgrowth. Oh, maybe Adorable Infestation beats the Overgrowth.
It's close. It is Ultimate Infestation scaled all the way down.
That's true. Oh, okay. Well, Fungal Fortunes will draw the portals as well. He actually has no minions left in his deck.
Yeah, exactly.
But it would fatigue him because he has 7 portals and 2 spells. So he will go into fatigue, but I don't think it matters because he's going to draw all of his portals. He's going to have a full board.
And Druid can't deal with it.
And Druid can't deal with it. And even if by some miracle he did, he would just reload with the giant beasts that are in his hand. He's got plenty of health to work with, so.
Yeah, this looks like Eddie is just kind of outmatched. And that second Survival of the Fittest is also icing on the cake. Looks like he didn't even really need that second one at all, although it's nice reassurance. And Eddie... doesn't really have an answer here. So we're going to look at what is very likely to be his last turn.
Oh, he drew the Lake Thresher. That was the only out that he had. I honestly don't even think that was out. There was no way for him to take off enough power on the board. He could have actually put the Anubisat defenders in the way.
Right. Okay, so if he played the Lake Threshodon, he would attack the... He would kill the Varanus and the Murazon, right, with the Cleave?
Yep.
And then Survival of the Fittest would just get past the taunts.
Yeah, no, he was still dead.
And then he would just crush it. I think he was just dead. I think he was just dead, but either way, it's like Eddie doesn't have any chance whatsoever. Before I think it's like a really small.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Whew. All right. Well, it turns out Eddie's not just struggling with the mage, also struggling with the Druid there. But I feel like that was more of a matter of. Yeah, I feel like that was more of a matter of Saiyan having like more consistent ramp, whereas Eddie had that one turn where he had to Speaker Gidra with 4 mana and Iron Bark just to answer a board that left a Kael'thas. And because of that, like, when you skip a whole turn and leave a Kael'thas up, you're dead. you're more than dead. So tough mirror matchup in game 1 for Eddie, but still a lot of series left to play.
Yeah, a ton of series, and so we'll see if Eddie can bring it back. But like we talked about, 4-game losing streak right now as we go into game number 2. The Druids checked off, pre-span on both sides. We'll see if the mages end up coming into play here, because remember, that is the big difference maker in their the lineup. Although Eddie's warrior is also pretty different from Saiyan. Saiyan has more of that bomb-centric approach. Eddie has more of the enrage egg tempo death rattle style. There's just a lot of things that warrior deck does, but it's kind of old school from the previous expansion. Looks like Saiyans going to his mage deck here, featuring more of the traditional tempo style, playing 15 cards at 1 cost. It's half the deck, TJ.
Nice. I love it. Explosive, efficient. I can't think of another adjective that starts with E.
Effective.
Effective, there you go.
Emollient.
Is that a word?
Effervescent.
Effervescent is a word.
Esports.
That's an adjective.
That's right.
All right. So this hand from Eddie looks more like a... I don't even know what that looks like. Looks weird. He's got his Wand Thief, a Prison Observer, both firebrands. That's a tempo hand right there.
It's more like a defensive control mage. If you didn't have that firebrand, that second firebrand, I'd probably start immediately thinking this is a Highlander mage deck.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if firebrand's fitting into Highlander mage decks, but yeah, I get what you're saying. But this is a hand that I'm sure Eddie is very happy to see after his hands in some of the previous games. He's got ways to fight back. He doesn't have any of his potions, either of his potions. So he's probably feeling good about his chances in this one. I would be.
Yeah, I would say that, the chances of him drawing both those potions are pretty low from this position, and looks like he's doing a good job of baiting that early aggression from Saiyan. It does feel like a big issue, on top of the fact that you might naturally draw both of the potions and have awkward combos, or no combos anymore. The biggest issue for a lot of decks, for a lot of the matchups for this deck, is the aggression that they can put on. Because you don't want to be playing Frost Novas really early just because they have so much pressure coming the other way. Saiyan with a pass. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to think of anything else to really do. Because he doesn't want to commit any minions with the threat of the Imprisoned Observer on the board. Everything he plays is just going to get swept up in 2 turns. Now Eddie plays another Imprisoned Observer, which means now Saiyan has 3 turns of everything he plays is going to get swept up. It's pretty rough. So Firebrand is not an elemental. So elemental and he doesn't want elemental allies at all. It's between Ice Barrier and Evocation.
I think Evocation makes a little more sense to me, given that he's going to run into mana issues later on. Ice Barrier does make more sense in terms of his immediate game plan, which is survive long enough to pull off the combo. So I can really see where both sides come from. I think Evocation gets slightly more because it's worth more than just 1 card. You can play it, and then you can play other cards with it.
Yeah, you can even get an Ice Barrier.
That's right. Saiyan sitting back, evaluating what he wants to do from a distance. Picks up Cram Session with his 2 spell damage minions, will let him draw 3 cards. Is now the turn he wants to go off with the Mana Cyclone? I don't think so, because a second Imprisoned, or the Imprisoned Observer will hit its second turn since it went dormant and deal 2 damage to everything, basically cleaning up his board.
I think he could just hold here again. I don't know, because if you hold here again, then that means you're going to hold the following turn as well. Because if you didn't go off here because of Imprisoned Observer, you're not going to do it next turn because of the second Imprisoned Observer. So, yeah, and I think passing 2 turns is too much. Ooh, what? Okay, that's weird. 2 of the same options, Dan. Spooky.
Right. It didn't have a side. Imagine if it was the same exact 3 with the side quest as well. That would just be very eerie indeed. But yeah, Saiyan's gonna go ahead and play his tempo mage in a way that is very true to the name, which is just go for a dramatic tempo swing. He's playing very inefficient with his mana, but eventually he'll have a very big power turn where he's able to play a bunch of cheap cards,
You don't pick
then
the
replace his
ones.
hand with Mana Cyclone, then ideally get Mana Giant out onto the board. All right, so a pretty quick beginning of the turn here for Eddie as Wandmaker puts a mirror image into the hand.
I wonder.
Not great, because one of the difficulties you have later on in the game is board space. Now, maybe he could use it now to protect his minions since he's still quite a ways away from doing his combo.
Potion of Illusion just keeps giving you mirror images.
Mirror images that you can't kill off, yeah. But if you're gonna play it, you're gonna play it now because if Saiyan wants to win, he's gonna have to kill those. It's just later on in the game when your turns are set and you need the board space to be able to keep going off with your Tortolans. But honestly, if you're not under threat from the board, you don't even need to do that. You can just keep your minions in play and keep going for it. So.
All right, from Saint's perspective, he knows another Imprisoned Observer is about to wake up and deal another big wave of AoE damage to all enemy minions.
What to do? What to do?
I'm really kind of racking my brain here to see like what Saiyan's big tempo swing turn is gonna look like. But it seems like he's once again just kind of in a holding pattern.
Yeah.
Just kind of remove things, play some cards, hero power, just take the 4 damage from the Imprisoned Observer on the other end. Okay, that helps, but that's next turn, right?
Yep.
Next turn you play Sorcerer's Apprentice, a bunch of cheap cards, Mana Cyclone. That leaves you 2 more mana to do things. Most likely you're going to be able to play Mana Giant as well. Alright, so we're cooking.
We are cooking.
Oven's on, TJ. Turkey is basted.
Ooh, now we're really cooking. From Eddie's perspective this time, though.
That's right. We're more turtling, but get to that in a sec.
Yeah. But drawing the Tetron Pilgrim is the start.
So the problem is, again, TJ, we have the mirror images on the board. I think Say is deliberately going to keep them alive, similar to what we saw Muzzy do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. 3 pairs. All right, here we go. Ready for some fireworks?
Yes.
Not quite the Mozaki fireworks. This is more like a Disneyland fireworks, if you will.
Wait, which one is better? I don't know. Disneyland fireworks are pretty good. So are Mozaki fireworks. I don't even know the difference in levels between those two.
I guess I was saying like this is like a small one because Disney does like a small one at the end of every night, but the big ones are like the July 4th ones.
Oh.
Either way, Saiyan's ready to pop off with a bunch of these light explosions. Not the best arcane missiles, but we'll see what this Mana Cyclone generates.
Someone's out on me.
Oh no. That is ugly. That's really not a good hand.
Are you sure about that? He's got 15 damage with a burn.
Yeah, how's he gonna get the other 9 though?
Pings.
I suppose so. Like it's
This
a good
deck
hand
doesn't kill you
if Eddie
fast.
was. Yeah, it'd be a good hand if Eddie was at 15.
Eddie still has a
but, like,
long ways to go before he kills him.
True. And you know, maybe you're right. Like there are ways you could kind of make up that damage, right? There's the Cobalt Geomancer. There's whole potion of illusion, so maybe you can get more of that, and maybe you can find a way to get it done. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Well, we gotta kill the Tortolan Pilgrim, right?
Yes, but honestly,
What to do? What to do?
Yes.
it doesn't matter.
As
at this
I
point.
hope you speak to me always.
It doesn't matter because it's 5 attack, right? Because Eddie could just go Tortolan Pilgrim, Potion of Illusion, then another Tortolan Pilgrim, and Potion of Illusion. He gets 2 Tortolan Pilgrims back. So if you don't want him to have 3 Tortolan Pilgrims, sure. Or if you want to try and make it so that he has too many minions on board. But Eddie's not really under pressure right now, so he can kind of pace his combo as he sees fit.
Right.
And I mean, at this point, his board is going to be frozen until the end of time. So it just doesn't seem like he's going to win with board presence. Feels like he's just got to find burn. And because of that, I think it would have been cool to play a Font of Power and try and get Archmage Antonitis. And then Archmage Antonitis Frost Nova, because while Eddie's deck can freeze, it does not really have direct removal. Sure, you can. You technically have the board space to play Potions of Illusions and then 4 Blizzards. But that's bold.
I wonder.
Yeah, there's not really. There's not really like an offensive plan here from Saiyan just yet, outside of the burn damage in hand. So I imagine he's just kind of waiting to see what Eddie can do with this. But the Tortolan Pilgrim, the combos are now starting to pop off. You can see he's eliminating his own board. Another Potion of Illusion. And those are just the 2 that he really needs. He can go ahead and dump the rest of his hand, to be quite honest here.
You're in my hands now.
Time runs out on me.
Yep, and the Tortolan Pilgrim, now he's basically waiting for the Nightblade. Sometimes you can really try to aim for... You try to aim for the Cartoon Defender to also come out to help you heal, but...
And that's another reason why I didn't like the Flame Ward, because it gives Eddie a way to kill off his own board. Like, he has a Frost Nova in hand. You can make it so that Eddie has a whole turn where he's doing nothing.
Yeah, that's fair.
The Flame Ward just seemed unnecessary.
What to do?
All right, well, Saiyan needs to find a way to deal damage somehow. Okay, so the Violet Spellwing gives you Arcane Missiles. That's 3 damage. Pyroblast gives you 3. Apexis Blast is 5. So that's 18 damage. Now we're getting pretty close, TJ. Now you can convince me Saiyan has a burn plan.
What to do?
You just should have started ping and face 3 turns ago. 2 turns ago. And there's still not a ping to the face.
I mean, he's trying to put maximum pressure, but I guess in his mind, it's like he's just going to force him to freeze 1 turn. Like, I don't think Mana Giant's ever going to be able to attack.
No, it's
Opponent
so
has
easy for Eddie to keep freezing. So easy.
Yeah. The way that you get it is to hope that your opponent's holding holding one of the Potions of Illusion, then draws the other one.
You're in my hands now.
What's the point of the Potion of Illusion? I'm really.
It's
I'm
to
really
put a
confused
1/1
with
on
that.
board.
Yeah,
He wants to fill
I
his board up
guess.
with 1/1s.
Yeah. It's just like, why not just play the Sphere of Sapience first and then do it?
Yeah.
It's just amusing to me, that's all.
There's just no reason not to, I guess. It is stupid, Dan. It's stupid.
You're in my
Time runs out on me.
it looks very. The optics on it definitely look very silly. That's for sure. Now you play the final one. Or Nova. Oh, doesn't want the 1/1 to die. I like it. I like it. So if I'm saying, I think I Pyroblast here. It's always gonna happen. It's the only way you win. And I feel a lot more comfortable trying to hold off the damage afterwards, as opposed to, I guess the alternative would be to like play things like Rolling Fireball now, and then save yourself like 4 or 5 damage, right?
Yeah. Does let him ping. Get Arcane Intellect, Rolling Fireball, ping.
It's true.
Ping face,
Yeah,
and then he's
that
got
actually
8
might
more
be
to go.
What to do?
Yeah, but when you start pinging face, it's pretty clear what you're trying to do, and your opponent can play around that, or start to play differently to get around that.
I don't know if he can play differently. I'm pretty sure his turns are all going to be exactly the same. Unless he draws Cartoot Defender. Sure.
Whoa. Raz.
Time runs out on me.
I mean, that Raz does a lot of damage here. It does 7 damage. 6 minions on the board. Plus the hero, so it's pretty good amount of thing. I wonder if Eddie just... What does he want here? What's his best draw? Cartoot Defender? Probably.
Nightblade.
Oh, Nightblade for sure.
I wonder.
Nope. Doomsayer.
Yeah.
Lorekeeper Poke wouldn't have been bad either, because then you get Cartoot Defender into Nightblade.
Right. That's what the Lore Keeper is for, is to help improve the consistency of your deck so that you know when you're going to be drawing it, or very likely to be drawing.
Well, it's also to make sure that you draw your Tortolan Pilgrims before you draw your Potion of Illusion, so you don't get into the same situation. I'd like to say, on the record, Dan, I liked this deck when it was losing, and I don't like it when it's winning.
I think it's a pretty sweet deck, to be quite honest. The problem is when it can't win like this. Like, the issue is when it can't win, so what it's just doing is a bunch of nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, TJ, there's a chance. Because you can Potion of Illusion back the Mana Cyclone. So you can dump your hand.
Well, if he rolling fireballs here, it's the highest chance for him to get. Oh, he's keeping board space empty. Okay, this is good. This is good. This is good. This is good.
Job done.
He's keeping board space full, so he's Pyroblasting this turn, and then next turn he's going in, Dan. As much as he can.
Going in what?
He's gonna try and find lethal, right? With Mana Cyclone. So like Frost Nova, Brain Freeze. He can freeze the board and not kill anything to completely fill up board space. Gruul.
Oh. Man, it's a big minion. Saiyan's gonna be dead either way. Oh, wow.
All right. So,
Arcane Missiles. I mean, this is the time to go.
Arcane Missiles. Do you unload a Frost Nova here?
I would, yeah. The alternative is to not freeze Gruul and then die.
Well, he could Brain Freeze the Gruul instead.
That's true, and then Rolling Fireball. You're right.
Yeah.
That's actually completely reasonable. And then you could still play the Mana Cyclone at the end.
He's digging. Fireball?
Interesting.
Nope.
Wait, I see a 5-minute.
Rolling
it's
Fireball.
Pex's Blast.
It's the wrong one.
Fireball.
But he has 2 magic tricks. Alright, come on. Font of Power. Get that Archmage Antinitis. Finally.
Go faster, Saiyan. Gotta be faster.
I feel like that turn could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
But Eddie's still not killing him.
I know.
Unless...
I mean,
Grom? No Grom.
I think we actually saw that in the Europe,
Happened
where the Grom was able to push because of that, but...
Yeah, there was 3 Groms from Counter-Calling in Europe earlier, I think. Alright, so now Saiyan has Frost Nova, plus Mana Cyclone. Because Jadis Barav is useless at this point, effectively, because Eddie can just...
Runs out on me.
excuse me?
What?
They're all
I don't
1/1s.
know.
They do nothing.
Yeah,
He didn't even get a Tortolan Pilgrim back.
I'll just ping his face.
Because it was the last one played.
Bone Wraith is actually better because its Death Rattle summons a stronger minion. Okay, Font of Power.
Arcane
Your hero power does 2
Amplifier.
extra damage. Arcane Amplifier
We're close, Dan.
plus Frost Nova. TJ.
Then he's 1 off.
How many pings has he not been able to do?
He's not pinged a lot. And he has to Frost Nova this turn.
Wait. TJ. He
What?
hero power Frost Nova. Sorry, he plays the Arcane and then gets the damage. Then they puts him down to 4. The next turn, he can Potion of Illusion and make his hero power deal 5.
Oh no, that's the play. That is the play because
That's the line.
Eddie's board is full. He can only ping 1, and then only play 1 Tortolan, which is only 1 Blizzard. He can't kill it. Oh, Rustied Raider. No, yeah, Rustied Raider. He can ping and then play Rustied Raider. Okay, it doesn't work.
Okay.
Because Rustied Raider, even though it's a 1/1, its battle cry is it gets +4 attack this turn, so it's still 5 attack. So if he played Arcane Amplifier, Eddie would ping off his own minion and then Rustied Raider to kill it.
I think Saiyan's missed around, like, not missed, but, like, has opted out of, like, 3 pings now, and... Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing. I mean, in that situation, he's thinking my mana cycle is going to generate so much stuff that I need a burn spell here. But he hasn't
I
gotten
kind
a
of
burn
get where
spell.
his head's at, though. Boom Pistol Bully would have stopped his mana cycle from coming down, which I think he needed as well. So that's understandable.
So now you Potion of Illusion and Blizzard.
What to do? What to do?
And then try and find the burn next turn? I don't know. Blizzard Icicle. And draw
What to
into
What to do?
Ashermancer Solarian.
Okay. Oh, okay. Just straight up going for another mana cyclone.
Yeah.
And hoping he doesn't die to Nightblade.
Yep.
Job's done.
Oh,
Okay.
Wand Thief.
Yeah. A pretty high chance for some kind of lethal opportunity here. Actually, no, because I thought that he had another 2-1 on the board, but instead he only has 3 damage, so less. Oh!
Puzzle box.
Oh.
Mirror Entity.
This I like the secret. The secret messes with Saiyan.
Yeah,
Played
it
it
does.
very quick too.
Yeah.
And here we are. There's too much health on the board for Firebrand to be relevant, so it looks like Saiyan's is going to go ahead and play Mana
Fireball!
Cyclone just to get Fireball.
2 freezes.
Start pinging! DJ!
Oh my gosh.
Saiyan needed to get the damage with the 0 power to get closer, an inch ever so slightly forward.
What to
He's not gonna
He's
ping
still
again.
not gonna do it because his outs don't decrease. I don't think his outs increase actually by doing that.
I mean, if he had started pinging a long time ago, yes. But he knows the Rusty Raider's there, so Arcane Amplifier would just die.
Right.
I guess the 6/6.
No, he's just gonna ping it and then play his Tortone Pilgrim, right? Wait,
Yeah, but it's only one Tortollan Pilgrim.
I know what Saiyan's thinking that Eddie has a chance of missing his Tortone Pilgrim, or sorry, missing his Potion of Illusion if he draws it, right?
I wonder.
Or if he draws his freezes and he doesn't have enough freeze anymore.
Yeah.
So Eddie's really weighing this decision. If he draws a different card and chooses to scry and not and have this Tortone Pilgrim put on the bottom, if he draws a bad spell that he needs to be in the deck, his deck starts to fall apart. Alternatively,
Draws
he
Nightblade right
find-
now.
yeah, if he draws Nightblade, he'll be in a good spot. Just the counterspell stops it though.
Time runs out on me.
Super unusual position to be in, to say the least. Astromancer Solarian. Okay. And
There's the
he
out.
has that 3 cards. But it's not truly,
I mean, you
Wait,
Astromancer,
it-
Solarian, Blizzard, and then...
You ping your Solarian, right?
Oh, but he's just going to Frost Nova it.
Right, yeah, that's the problem. He's going to Frost Nova, because if you ping it, you don't have enough mana to draw cards next turn.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Just concede. Go to the next game. I don't want to do this anymore.
There's still a chance. Okay, what's
Is there,
the
though?
deck? What's remain? Yeah, there is. What if there's? Is there a single Brain Freeze in this deck left?
Runs out on me.
If so, then he can Blizzard, and then draw now. You draw now with Cramp Session instead. Oh, now we ping. Okay.
Now he pings the vase. Oh, okay. Job done. Big guy over here.
Uh-oh, Cartoon Defender. That's a big one. That's a super big one.
Now he can Potion of Illusion and ping the cheap one.
Yep, exactly.
You're in my hands now.
And he can still Frost Nova.
He can't actually choose all of that.
Yeah, you're right.
He can only Potion of Illusion, and then if he wants to ping, he can play the Cartoon Defender now and ping it, but he can't freeze it, which gives Saiyan a chance.
I think
the
he'll choose
Astromancer to
freezing.
die.
I think he'll choose Frost Novaing the Astromancer over ping. Nope. He gave him a chance.
Now Saiyan has a 1 in 3 chance to draw the Solarian. Cram Session needs to hit it, and he only gets one draw.
Nope.
I'm almost out of cards.
Oh. Is he alive?
No.
No.
4 health.
And Eddie takes a slugfest of a victory, 1-1, as that mage deck went the distance and almost took Saiyan to fatigue. A lot of times I feel like that mage deck is doing exactly that, though, like stalling until the very late game to try to find a win condition. And overall, that was quite the marathon, but it's tied 1-1.
Very weird. Very weird. I am pretty confident it was optimal from Eddie. The only thing is that I don't think you give him a chance with Solarian at the end. I think instead of pinging, you Frost Nova the Astromancer, because he would, if he had 6 damage from his hand, he would have killed you a long time ago. So being the difference between 6 and 9, it seems negligible. The only other out would have been a Pexus Blast, but then he would have been start pinging your face a lot earlier than that. So I think you Frost Nova not to give him the Solarian Prime out. But from Saiyan, I feel like there was messy turns, and I mean there was like 40 turns in that game, so I don't even know if how many were messy. But as soon as you see that mage go off with the combo, it's very hard to try and outvalue them or stick minions or anything. I think it's all about trying to find burn. I feel like he missed some opportunities to find burn, like the Flame Ward over Font of Power, not starting to ping face earlier when he was under less pressure, that type of thing. But doesn't matter now. Game's over. Eddie finally gets a win through with that mage. Now he's going to turn to the Pain Warrior.
Yeah, and Eddie's losing streak has stopped for now, as he was on a 4-game losing streak. And, now he is able to finally get that win. He's going to turn to that Warrior deck, which has done well for him. But we'll see if that Warrior deck can stand up to Saiyan. I don't know. I feel like that Mage deck in particular had some corners that could have definitely been improved. But overall, these kinds of matchups are really long and hard, and there's so many easy ways to mess up, so I don't really blame them. Saiyan slowly descending deeper into the darkness.
Oh, brief light as he tabs over, and darkness again.
Trying to stay vigilant, be on his toes as he looks at his opening hand and a bunch of 1-mana cards. Normally, this just makes it look like, wow, good curve. Let's go ahead and keep this stuff. But is this what he really wants in the matchup against Warrior?
I mean, I think so. You still kill him the same way. Violet Spellwing's a guaranteed spell outside of your deck. I guess not.
Yeah, I thought about it a little bit more. I feel like you want actual card draw while Warrior's still getting a little bit set up, and then go for more powerful plays. Playing 1-mana 1/1s, and then you're out of cards feels like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it still has a high win rate when kept in the mulligan in the matchup. But the matchup's pretty poor overall. Yeah, that one's tough. I think you're right, though. You're looking for card draw.
It says explode!
Pretty swift turns here from Eddie, who has double Warmaw Challenger, double Risky Skipper, so has good building blocks, but usually it's the spells that really tie everything together. The Battle Rage, the Rampage, the Corsair Cache that really draws the weapons.
Oh, well, there's Battle Rage. And Eddie's going to be able to get some value off that pretty quickly to this game. Wormhole Challenger's going to have some pretty nice targets to start eating up. They're probably not going anywhere. Because Saiyan's not running much removal. Did pick Combustion, though. So now we're looking for a Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yeah, if we don't have Sorcerer's Apprentice, I think this Azure Explorer is totally fine to play early here, just to get more board presence going. Astroman's Solarian is also totally fine, and then you can ping off like the Sky Raider.
I will crush your delusions of grandeur.
Those are the two plays I mainly see. I think I want to really hold on to Brain Freeze because we have Mana Cyclone in the hand.
Yeah. Azure Explorer also just going to get eaten up. At least take off some value. Oh, okay, never mind. Just going to go for Mana Cyclone now. That's not a super high value Mana Cyclone, but it does allow him to maybe even fight back on board a little bit and limit the potential for like Bloodsworn Mercenary or like Rampage into Bloodsworn Mercenary. Like putting damage onto a Wormhole Challenger has a lot of value because a lot of times you get good value trades over it, and eventually you will have to deal with it because you can get punished pretty heavily, especially with the new addition to the deck, Shield of Honor, can turn Wormhole Challengers into some pretty scary things.
Well, maybe this is even scarier. Eddie can draw 6 cards with this Battle Rage. Whew. Or 5 cards, rather. He's not damaged with his own hero.
Yeah. Still
Blood
good,
Braille
though.
Brute.
5 cards for 2 mana.
Brute is still 0 mana.
Yeah, it does kill off. It kills off Saiyan's minions, but it does kill off all of his minions and will break his egg. I guess worth? Still a good amount of power on board.
Yeah, it's still good for Rampage as a follow-up. It is kind of unfortunate because the 2 risky skippers tend to have anti-synergy with each other.
Yeah.
So Saiyan here in turn 4, he has the Azure Explorer that he can place onto the board. He picks up Cram School, so that's Cram Session.
Cram School.
Cram School. Yeah, we call that Kumon. Azure Explorer with that is a really powerful combo, but I don't know if you can afford to be super slow on tempo development. The thing is, though, Azure Explorer isn't good tempo. It's a 4-mana 2/3. That's about half the stat line you're expecting. A little more than that, but usually you want at least like a 4-attack minion, 4-health minion around that mana cost here. So maybe just Combustion and Pass can just remove.
Yeah, I think that's the play. Mirror Entity, not much value. Oh boy.
Made to fit.
Saiyan's on a very short clock now. Grom in a rage in hand
yes.
for Eddie. And he's just going to keep pushing for damage. Eddie's counting down from 27 to 12. And he's going to get there pretty quick, especially with a Rampage in hand. Next turn he's going to be able to push 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, that'll be enough. It's like a 3-turn lethal setup unless Saiyan can start freezing some stuff. Maybe Jandis Barov can get a taunt. But even then, this is looking real bad.
What makes something real?
What else could be
Janice
really good?
Barov.
Oh! Get it out of here!
Would you like some 3-drops?
Which one's an illusion, Dan? The lower health one. I guess we'll never know.
Oh my gosh. Alright. Wrap it up.
Yeah.
This is absurd. So Rampage and Shield of Honor does an extra 6 damage, 8 to the face. Plus the bomb rank already just puts Eddie at the magic number of 12.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that much is clear.
He could actually, if he wanted to, he could push 16 damage this turn.
Yeah, it's all about like not raising too much suspicion though, because then Saiyan might just like make all of his choices in a defensive manner, and he might cost himself.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Nice guess. I like the Shield of Honor here and just pushing.
Yep.
And Saiyan's in big trouble. And he was really hoping to save the Azure Explorer in Cram Session, but... Okay.
That buys him a turn. He can Azure Explorer, Cram Session, and then Ray of Frost.
Can he Ray of Frost after? I think he doesn't have.
Oh yeah, sorry. He's at. I
'Cause
thought he was at 7 mana, but I was thinking of Eddie's next turn. So no, he can't do anything. I mean, he can still Ray of Frost, but he can't get further into his deck, which is like the big problem here. Like he can Azure Explorer and then maybe soak some hits and Ray of Frost to 8/6, but 8/6 isn't going anywhere. I guess Evocation can buy him some time. But at this point, all Eddie needs to do is push 1 damage and then have an open board space. And that's all it takes, because he has that 12 damage in 2 turns.
Time runs out on me.
Yeah, an act of desperation, but this is looking real bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
If he
9,
gets
10 damage, I see, with upside of maybe lethal with the Boombots. If the Boombots go face for, I think, a lot, like 3 to 4 each, I think that's lethal. Oh, he's making space on this board for the Rampage and the Bloodsworn Mercenary.
Your flaws are strength.
Yeah. This has been the most one-sided game we've seen so far today, I think. And that includes the double Potion of Illusion drawn turns for his Turtle Mage.
Close. We're not gonna lie here. This was not close. This was abysmal performance by the Mage. And you know, Mage's statistics are really low across the board. If you look at like Legend data,
Oh, Frost Nova.
it does not do well. Frost Nova helps stall, but like, how do we win? Right? We can prolong this game.
Can Power of Creation do anything next turn? Okay, Flame Ward. Sorcerer Apprentice gonna stick. Not that it matters.
Okay.
Power of Creation. Oh! 5
Puzzle
Power
Box.
Blasts.
It can cast Puzzle Box, which can cast 5 Pyroblasts.
Yes. I think that has to be it. I think that's way better odds than Power of Creation, but it's very unlikely that it's going to be impactful enough.
Are you sure?
I mean, he's dead to just the Grom, unless it casts, like, clears the board and casts Counterspell.
Like Vaporize?
So it cleared the board, but
What secret does he
Nope.
have? With
it's
Flame Lord?
it's Flame Ward. But Eddie might think that it's Vaporize or Ice Barrier. Oh, if
man.
it's Spellbender
If it's
or
Vaporize.
Counterspell too.
Yeah, it is Vaporize. Does Eddie lose?
Yeah, but it's
He's
not.
just going for it. He says, it's unlikely. Gets the win.
Yeah.
And
This
that's
was
going to be a
smart, though.
2-1 lead for Eddie.
He played around like Counterspell, Spellbender. Not that it would have mattered because he checked with Risky Skipper first, but I mean, that Slayer Prime was like so many secrets away from winning in the game. Oh well.
If it was Ice Barrier, right, I think he would have been alive. And so maybe, like, the quality, the issue was that,
Yeah, he would have been alive. Yeah.
like, Eddie Well, Eddie would have had the weapon to swing the next turn too, so he's not even dead there.
But he could
He's
have
not
Power
even
of
safe
Creation, got
there.
a taunt.
You're right. It was at a turning point. The game could have actually been at a turning point there. And Solarian Prime actually did exactly what he was probably asked to do, which was like clear the board and like win you back some tempo.
Yeah.
Just that they picked the wrong secret.
Well, the Flame War was cast the previous turn from the Evocation, I think. I wonder if the Evocation gave a different secret. I don't think it did, but still very close. And Solarian Prime can do some crazy things, but now Saiyan will turn to his warrior, and the only deck that Eddie has remaining left is the Druid. And this Bomb Warrior in particular, it doesn't have the full removal suite, but it has enough, I feel. The full removal suite would also be running Coerce, which can sometimes be a little bit overkill as far as the removal goes. But he has double Bladestorm, he has double Brawl, he has Lord Barav, Shield Slams. So basically this deck from Saiyan, all it's trying to do is shuffle a ton of bombs to the deck and remove all these big minions that are played from the Druid. And I feel like it's been performing pretty well in the matchup, though Warrior did struggle a lot in Europe earlier today. But I do like it in the matchup because just how much removal you have.
Yeah, I think that the Warrior deck is particularly good at pressuring the Druid if they get that good curve, but I mean, what is this?
Zixor with Survival of the Fittest is just...
Wow.
Mwah.
What? What? That's so interesting to me now. We'll see if Eddie's curve here is just really too much to handle, but
the Zixor actually adds. It's going to become quite problematic for Saiyan because there's another wave of minions that he now has to deal with, right? Because you are on a clock. You do have removal to deal with multiple waves of threats, but it's not infinite. You have two Bladestorms, two Brawls. Bladestorms are pretty situational. A lot of times, you deal with the big Kael'thas that they use to go off with Survival of the Fittest, or to deal with Guardian Animals. The Brawl is to deal with those big boards once they go full in. But Zixor adding in yet another big board of threats could be the tip it over the edge for Eddie. I'm not sure, though. We still have a long ways to go. Saiyan is going to have a good amount of time for swings since Eddie currently does not have any ramp, and he's just going to have to start playing stuff from hand. His Twilight Runner is pretty protected from removal in this situation because he has a one health and a 2 health minion. It can't just get Bladestormed off the board. But it looks like he is going to take it a little bit slower, not wanting to go for the coin at Innervate here because he can use that for Guardian Animals next turn.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Guardian Animals is really important and deck-defining card here for Druid. I do think that Saiyan swinging with his weapon repeatedly, going all the way to Blastmaster Boom is also kind of important. Pretty curious that I guess he doesn't feel the need to remove these minions on the board because he has cards like Risky Skipper, which will eventually clear it. Horde Pillager, by the way, low-key super powerful in this deck.
Yeah. Also, the Dr. Krasinov I've loved.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, it just gives you +1/+1, but it's just better than Captain Greenskin in most situations because it has the upside of being able to survive a second turn and you get to remove something immediately. Obviously, it's not. It's one less power, but most of the time, you're not going to just not play Dr. Krasinov. There's nothing on the board you can attack into it, so it just seems almost strictly better. So that's been one of my favorite cards to play around with in the Bomb Warrior deck. But now saying this situation's a little bit tough because There's a Twilight Runner that you know is going to draw cards. There's nothing that you can really do to match it right now. I don't think Risky Skipper he wants to go off because he doesn't have any follow up to it. He doesn't have Battle Rage. I mean, maybe you just play one of the Sky Raiders, see what's in there. Maybe you can pick up Captain Greenskin or not Dr. Crafton, Captain Greenskin. Southsea Captain's interesting because it can buff your Risky Skippers. Wow, he's going to part ways with a Brawl. I guess he wants the board as clean as possible for...
What?
And he wins it!
Wow. That was big. He takes no damage, and he draws no cards for that. I mean, if you can guarantee Brawl to do that, then by all means, Brawl your heart out.
Still, though, Brawl is such a big tool.
Yeah, but like,
able to
if you
start
get to the
clearing out the
survival
big stuff.
Yeah, it's just that if you get to that stage of the game, and you're not, like, if you have to Brawl, you're usually not developing behind that. You're, like, waiting for bombs to drop at that point.
Yeah.
I feel like Brawl doesn't really work the way that people think. Just similar to, actually, Lord Barov. People are like, oh, I'm not afraid of Druid, Survival of the Fittest. I have Lord Barov, and it really doesn't... Like, if you go against really good players, they're really just going to layer their removal and make sure not to overextend to Lord Barov or Brawl. And then they play, like, another 2 minions that have 8 to 9 attack, and then you're like, okay, I can't take that 17. I have to Brawl a 2 minion board, you know, that kind of stuff. I agree with saying, I think, in this department, it's...
Okay. Yeah, I can see it. I guess he also does have like the risky double Blade Storm in hand, and he's got to get rid of cards somehow.
Right.
Now he doesn't have to worry about the Twilight Runners drawing cards, and gets to get full value out of this Horde Pillager and stick it on an empty board.
Yeah, I definitely would say that Eddie
Ooh.
not drawing... Oh, wow, that's unlucky. Eddie not drawing cards with his Twilight Runner is kind of a big deal, too. It just dramatically slows down the clock that he's able to put Saiyan on, because the dynamic of this matchup comes down to two things. Either one, Druid has like an unstoppable ramp hand, and just crushes the Warrior, and Warrior has to Brawl and like do all these things defensively. And even if they do all these things defensively, they have no offensive game plan except for bombs. Or the alternative is Warrior does a bunch of damage, Druid barely stabilizes, and then Warrior's waiting for Druid to draw the bombs, which they're so good at doing in their deck. And Eddie's at a point in the game where I think he can draw bombs from his deck. You don't want to draw it later into the game where it's really devastating, because if you also draw bombs, you shut off the ability for Blastmaster Boom to be super relevant.
Yeah.
So it felt like to me that was a position where Eddie should be drawing more cards, but he clearly didn't value it nearly as much as keeping his options open. And I'm curious if that ends up being something that's like really good and perhaps missing in my Druid play, or something that Eddie is being a little bit too conservative about. It's an interesting question for sure.
Yeah, it's hard to have a definitive answer because everything's just so new, right? Like optimal play is
exactly.
hard to spot.
They could be wrong too. we both could be wrong and say like it's actually a third play that no one's thinking about.
Yeah. So this is a fully loaded Blastmaster Boom. I wonder if that's on Saiyan's mind. There's also a possibility for him to just go with Risky Skippers this turn. Oh, he's actually going to take the immediate value for the Blastmaster Boom, play Risky Skipper plus the bombs, try and get the bomb damage in now. Hopefully clean up the board, play around Survival of the Fittest, buffing this up and him taking a lot of damage. And then can he clean up the... Oh.
Well, he can't clean that up.
Alright, so I don't remember the name of this card, but it remembers all the spells that are cast, and then when it dies, it shuffles them into your deck.
Yeah, it's kind of like Mortal Prelate.
Yeah, but it remembers all of them. Alright, so I don't remember the name of this card, but it remembers all the spells that are cast, and then when it dies, it shuffles them into your deck. Yeah, but it remembers all of them. Yeah, but it remembers all of them.
Yeah, it's kind of like Mortal Prelate.
Yeah,
I mean, you're
Can
not
that
playing
play
many
around-
as Druid, though.
Can that play around bombs, though? But then it also means his average draw is worse. Interesting.
I wonder.
Yeah, well, it looks like he's just going to go for the survival of the fittest.
Time waits for no one.
I mean, it is interesting because he would be, like, increasing his deck size so that way it's less likely that he draws bombs. It's interesting, right? Maybe that card has more potential than we're giving it credit for.
Yeah, so now when it dies, he just gets those back at some point. Which another survival of the fittest seems... Oh, educated Elec. There you go.
Yes, educate Alec. It's kind of luxurious, right? You don't really get to benefit off of that for the most part, so...
I think this
It's
is
like
a benefit, though.
Sure, it's just that, like, I guess in Eddie's deck in particular, because he doesn't have 2 copies of Survival of the Fittest, that makes sense.
Yeah. And less likely to draw bombs, too, so he has more time. But I guess he also shuffled Lightning Bloom, which is kind of a dead draw, so maybe it's not more time. It's interesting. Ooh, taken 7. He does have Armor Smith to be able to gain back some of this this health that he's losing.
On.
I can use the Shield Slam afterwards. Ooh!
All right. Nice little fancy movement. I like it. Utilizing the buff on the South Sea Captain.
The sickest swipe of Eddie's life right now.
Or Starfall would be good too.
Yep. Actually, Starfall would cost 4 and allow him to perfectly hero power down the last minion.
Nourish. Interesting.
Because the Overflow heals up all these minions.
Uh-oh, he draws bombs. He drew his other survival. And... Wow. What?
What is his
Like all the
hand?
cards he played.
I know. Okay, at least he can kill off
gosh.
the South Sea Captain. That's actually pretty important because right now the South Sea Captain alone is representing 6 power. And the potential
6 of
for...
stats.
Time waits for
Yeah.
no one.
Oh, this is getting starting to get awkward for Eddie. Maybe that educated Elec, he kind of wanted to draw into some gas there. And I like the Bog Beam on the Risky Skipper here too to shut off potential for saying to play Minion plus Battle Rage. And he didn't have Minion plus Battle Rage, but
He has Course
He
to
had Battle
Cash, right?
Rage.
To draw another weapon?
yeah, he still has a Wrench Caliber in his deck.
Okay. Otherwise, I was like, Saiyan's hand doesn't really do anything, but Eddie has Glowfly Swarm next turn, which is actually kind of funny. It's almost like he's just back to playing Spell Druid. Part of me wonders that if he doesn't draw anything good, if Eddie's actually better off just playing Survival of the Fittest.
He can go Glowfly Swarm, Innervate. Nope, not enough.
Oh, you're
Lightning
talking about he
Bloom,
could go
Survival of the
for Survival.
Oh, no, he can!
Oh my god! What? He can do it! And that's like the last spell he needed, right? To summon 7? What? This is the second copy that was generated by the educated Alec. Saiyan can't believe it. Wait! Oh, he has a board clear with Bladestorm.
It's not a board clear. Oh yeah, no, it
You
is
just
because he
trade everything
trades it
into
all
one.
into 1 and then attacks it with his weapon. Oh man, okay. And then
Or you
Eddie's
could
out of
go
stuff and he
all
only
face.
has 6 mana.
TJ,
All face and then and then pray.
Why didn't we attack with the minion? Miss 3 damage. Oh man.
Hello?
I really hope that doesn't end up mattering here. Oh, he finds a
Hello?
brawl.
Is this thing on? Hello?
I think we're reaching the hours of the day where it's just becoming like the players are becoming fatigued.
Okay, so he's not dead.
If he draws a bomb here, Sane's gonna be real sad.
Yep.
What?
12,
Oh, not
12.
enough mana. Not.
Oh, man.
It's gonna summon 4 12/12s.
I mean, Saiyan would have just almost had a lethal setup with 1 damage. He missed 3. I guess Eddie will hero power here, so it wouldn't have been enough. Hero power and clear off what he can off the board. I don't think Eddie even wants to draw cards. He could spend the mana on Wild Growth, but then not use the excess mana.
Right.
Just kidding.
Okay. I mean, it's unlikely he draws the bomb, right?
There are 3 bombs left.
Trade. And then go face. And now, back over to the Warrior. And this is the kind of dynamic we're talking about, where like Warrior loses the board, Druid has overwhelming pressure, but Warrior is waiting for the bombs. Another Lackey opportunity, but he didn't find any damage last time, so he's going to still be short no matter what here. Unless Faceless Lackey summons Bluegill Warrior.
Ooh.
Evil Quartermaster.
Is he thinking of Brawl?
I think he's contemplating if he wants to go for bigger board presence here and like play things like Faceless Lackey, or if he wants to just kind of chill and hero power. Because the more he extends onto the board, the weaker his Brawl gets in the future, because he can play more minions onto the Brawl. So, from here, I think Sand just swings.
Yeah.
Right? No swing! Oh, he's... A bomb! Another bomb! What?
If he had swung, he only needed 1 bomb.
What was that?
I don't know. I don't even know. Saiyans in space right now.
That's right. He's dissipating into the cosmos. Oh, jeez. I don't even know what to think. All right, well, last game is going to be Mage versus the Druid, and this is a much better matchup than Mage versus Warrior. I think Mage versus Warrior is really unfavored for the Mage. Just looking at the data real quick, Mage has 1 good matchup. It's against Priest. Against Druid, it's slightly unfavorable against Druid, but I imagine that a lot of that data out there is because the deck lists aren't as refined, or people haven't learned how to pilot nearly as cleanly. It's a lot easier to play the Druid side than the Mage side.
Yes.
To be frank.
Yes, very much so. In fact, I think like Druid and Paladin win rates, I think, are pretty inflated, just because Paladin especially pretty straightforward. Druid's up there, and Mage, I think, is this variation of Mage is one of the hardest decks to pilot in the current metagame. Oh, all right. Well, let's get down to it.
Let's get to it. Game number 5. The winner of this will advance to play Frozen in the final series of today, as we march closer to having a record-long broadcast here for Hearthstone Grandmasters. We are approaching hour number 19.
Yeah.
No, sorry, hour number 17.
I think you were right the first time.
Oh, I was right the first time. Hour number 19 in the broadcast.
No, it was definitely 17.
Hour number 17 in the broadcast.
Yeah.
As we go into Mage versus Druid. Opening hand with the Overgrowth into the Guardian Animals. That's going to be hard for Saiyan to answer. Already looking pretty good for the Druid. And if it's slightly favorable for Druid, it's largely because they have hands like that, which are hard to stop. Wow. Well, now you can innervate Overgrowth into Overgrowth.
Seems good. Dan's just going to draw some cards here. You really need to accelerate your power turns. So I like the draw here. I like the no Violet Spellwing on 1 because that opened up this play. Also, it would have just got Hero powered down. The Arcade Missiles is pretty... it's not very impactful in the matchup.
Oh, it says explode!
Oh, yeah. Even more draw. That's what I'm talking about. Looking for Sorcerer's Apprentice is the big one, especially with all this cheap stuff in hand. Doesn't find it, but we're getting closer.
Yeah. Nature Studies could end up throwing a slight wrench into things. And Biggin is interesting.
Because you're pulling your minions out, and you have your Sarah Unleashed in hand, which is the one that... I mean, I guess it wouldn't even matter. Honestly, and Biggin seems sweet.
Wait, does it change Guardian Animals, though? They
oh, no, you're
more?
right.
You can't recruit them anymore.
What's funny is that I actually made this mistake myself, and I still just said that it would be sick on broadcast. I picked in Biggin, and my Guardian Animals did nothing. I still made that mistake like 2 days ago, and then just said it. That's how long this broadcast has gone.
Well, good thing that Eddie is still on top of it and not making sloppy decisions. You know, honestly, in these kinds of scenarios, we come full circle, and when we all get like our 3rd or 4th win, it's like you really wish that you were engaged the whole time. And one thing that actually Saiyin's been praised for, by the way, people talk about each individual skill set, right? Like, I think most people say that Eddie's main strength is his lineup building, and his ability to identify how to like win from awkward positions. Other people would say like strong technical play from other players like Saiyan, but one of the strengths that someone told me that Saiyan has that people don't really discuss is that he has crazy endurance. And he's like really capable of like being consistent as a player from hour 1 to hour 17 apparently. But today doesn't really seem to be the case. Saiyan
I was gonna
definitely
say
had more missteps than usual.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of players have, honestly. Players that normally don't do those kinds of things. All right. So, do you Sarah Unleash first? That way, when your Guardian Animals spawns Twilight Runners, you're more likely to get portals and can go for big burst? Or do you Guardian Animals now and try and find a more consistent place to play your Sarah when you have a thinner deck?
Yeah, I like the Ysera. Get the portals in earlier, make it more inconsistent. It's also like a bigger mana investment now versus later.
Yeah.
Because then you draw cards, and you're going to draw a Dragon Portal, then draw the cards that you can play. So I like that. Also, this minion's like really hard for Mage to deal with in general.
Yeah.
It feels like they can deal a lot easier with a Twilight Runner when they have cards like Firebrand in their deck.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to point out, it happened a few turns ago, but or last turn, Saiyan picked the Karantor Tricaster from the Primordial Studies. I actually wouldn't have minded Malagos, just because you could keep it loaded at 8 mana, and then assemble a bunch of Arcane Missiles. And then Sorcerer's Apprentice, Malagos, Arcane Missiles. Like unload like 10 of them. Probably not good though.
Pretty dope.
Probably too much wishful thinking there.
Wow. Threshodon and the Twilight Runner are exactly what the Doctor ordered, because now Threshodon can avoid attacking the Mana Giant directly to get that damage onto it.
Yeah. Also, we can use Ysera to kind of value trade over this Mana Giant and keep the Twilight Runner around. And that's a full clear.
I like it. Ooh, a Nubasoth Defender as well. Just start to pile on the stats. And it even threatened Saiyan with survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest.
Time waits for no one.
Eddie thinking real hard if there's any merit to holding on to a Nubasoth Defender. With Kael'thas in hand, I imagine this Nubasoth Defender loses value because you're going to be discounting a bunch of your cards, as opposed to playing Overflow into Nubasoth Defender. And not to mention that if you play Kael'thas and find a way to Overflow next turn, then you will have a pretty reasonable chance to get Survival of the Fittest and play that for free. So more stats on the board is better than in the hand.
Whoa.
This is a big turn coming up.
Whoa.
I mean...
He can dump, go for Evocation, dump, then go for Evocation again.
Yeah, but what is he building up to? Mana Giant, I guess?
Yeah, Mana Giant.
Man, wow. It's a lot of spray and pray. Jeez. Okay. The Mana Giant and the Evocation. Saiyan actually went pretty fast this turn. I have no complaints about the speed of play. Rolling Fireball, Mirror Image.
And Cantor's Flow. I'd like to get that one off. Mirror Entity,
Yeah.
too. That's a nice one.
Yes, Mirror Entity is very, very good.
All right.
Pretty reasonable turn.
Yeah, we got
All
ourselves a
things considering.
turn.
Okay, here come the dragons.
You're nothing.
I thought you couldn't summon yourself, DJ.
I was going to make the
That's a
same
bug.
joke earlier where Sethic Veilweaver was getting penance from penance twice.
Oh, right, yeah.
But it's the Sethic Veilweaver summoning it, not the penance itself.
Right. Exactly. It's about the discover and the add a random card. So Sky Raider can't give you a Sky Raider.
Yeah.
Renew can't discover Renew. More portals. More spell burst. Okay, so this Nature Studies finds Glowfly, Swarm, Bogbeam, and Claw. I would presume that Bogbeam is the best option. I don't think
lets
he
him-
has room to play Glowfly Swarm, unfortunately.
No, he could clear off the Mana Giant if he really wanted to. No, he couldn't. It wouldn't quite be enough. Because he would... I was thinking Speaker Gidra with Lightning Bloom, but he wouldn't be able to Speaker Gidra Lightning Bloom into Wild Growth because he would only have 5 mana. I don't even know what I'm thinking.
What to do?
Yeah, he would only have 5 mana.
to do.
And I was thinking Wild Growth, and then he can Ironbark Bogbeam clear it. But that would have been impossible because the Lightning Bloom would eat up the Nature Studies. And also wouldn't be wise because he'd be ruining his mana for next turn just to clear off a Mana Giant that obviously he's protected from. Saiyan doesn't run natural Conjurer's Calling in the deck.
What to do? What to do?
Alright, Evocation again.
guess that's his best option.
Oh, Frost Nova.
Nova.
Time runs out on me.
I like the oh man, the Seekers are pretty good too. Counterspell's pretty dank. I also think that there's a legitimate chance to try and discover another spell damage minion as well to really combo with Raz.
Yeah. Or just to try and get Astromancer Solarian if you think you're far enough behind to where you need a Solarian Prime to bail you out.
Fair enough. I feel like he is. I think he's in a really poor spot right now.
Yeah, because
Druid
Counterspell,
just
there's...
climbed-
I wonder.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna. Drew just climbed way too far ahead, and you're about to get even more ahead right now.
Yeah.
Nature
Ooh.
speaks through us. Nature speaks through us.
It's good playing around Mirror Entity, just diffusing the secrets one by one. I guess the downside of the counterspell is that he doesn't actually get the buff from the Gildra, which is kind of annoying. So I think he wanted to save this Bog Beam. Now he can't. At least if he wants to kill the Mana Giant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Saiyan looking for any way he can keep stalling, but this is looking pretty grim so far.
Yeah.
It's just that you can't deal with these big boards from Druid very easily. Wand Thief.
Frost Nova. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that should be all she wrote, as Saiyan doesn't have enough to handle like this kind of pressure anymore, and I think now the floodgates have opened. Oh, is he gonna go for a Mana Cyclone?
Yep, try and find something. How much power on board? 7, 11, 15, 19? Survival of
Okay.
the Fittest would do it. Doesn't find it, though. No card draw either. Oh. Still not looking good. I mean, Saiyan does have the turn 10 power play of lab partner Kirin Tor Tricaster and then the Raz, which is 4 damage AoE. It's a Flame Strike that hits face. Doesn't even touch most of these minions, though, which is the downside. And he's going into
when
9
there's
mana.
just too many stats. It's too difficult for the mage just with this alone. Wait. Oh, that's Solarian Prime. Oh, sorry, Astromancer Solarian, not actually Solarian Prime.
Yep. And I
Trying
don't
to
think
hope
there's
maybe
any way
hit
he can reduce
Doomsayer.
enough.
And that's
Close.
it. Saiyan's run ends here as Eddie will move on to face Frozen in the deciding match. And, you know, quite the battle back and forth, but at the end, there's only room for one player to move on. And Saiyan's going to dip out here. Muzzy moved on, but looks like Saiyan ended up, you know, having a top 8 finish, which is really solid. But, you know, I bet there's he's hoping that it had gone a little differently.
Yeah. Pretty rough, and yeah, you know, maybe that endurance not showing through too much, but it seemed like some of those mage games were just really hard for him to navigate around how much pressure he was under. And you know, even if he's making optimal lines, it's a tough matchup to begin with, and won't get that dream Muzzy Saiyan top 4 that we talked about at the beginning of the day. It's going to be either Frozen or Eddie joining Muzzy in that top 4 bracket on Sunday.
That's right. So Frozen Eddie is going to be our last deciding match to join Muzzy in the top 4 for Americas. And tomorrow we're going to go to Group B, featuring some other familiar faces and a newcomer, No Hands Gamer, as our new GM. coming into season 2. We're going to take another break and get ourselves ready for our last match of the day. When we return, we're going to have the conclusion of day number 1's broadcast of Eddie versus Frozen. Stay tuned.